Hey guys, today I just wanted to go over real quick. There's been a lot of people who've been saying they've been losing their ad placeholders in their content. I'm not sure if it's plugin, but it does appear to be across a lot of different themes. It's not tied to any one theme, which is why I feel like it's some plugin. We're going to go over why and how you can use an ad inserter instead for your in content and actually manually place all of your ad placeholders. This way you could also be more free to change your theme whenever you feel like. This will involve adding placeholders into the sidebar through the widget side, which you may need to move if you change themes if they change the sidebar location. This will make it much easier to carry across your placeholders no matter what. Let's dive in. All right, so as you see here on my site, when you look at the way it loads, you have placeholders that are going to be, above the content itself. You're going to have in the content itself, and then in the sidebar, and then the footer. So what's been happening is that people have been losing anything that's within this content section, like something updated and changed the way the content appears to the way the plugin assigns those slots, because it's typically looking like after paragraph tag, right? So when you go inside and activate the placeholders, what you see is how they're laid out. So when you look at these, when you go to create a placeholder, you get a tag where it's going to be against. And the problem is, I think for some people, is that they selected locations that weren't based on the paragraph. Like, see how this highlights this whole thing? If I click here, you'll see it selected the paragraph, right? So it's just looking for, the after the first paragraph it sees, then you're going to put in this, right? But you can select all kinds of weird things, and this would be basically you'd get an ad after the first strong. So you can cause your own issues if you selected weird things with what you chose to link out to. So like now that's tagged to the paragraph inside this where that tag is to, convert over to using a link. So it could be tied to those, but more than likely something updated and changed how the content is visually aligned, which caused all of these to no longer show up in the content. So you keep having some revenue because most of them are getting the above the content, the sidebar, and the footer. But your income dramatically lowers over time because you're obviously not showing all of these. So what we can do is instead use an ad inserter to basically replicate the in content with their ad placeholder, and this would give you the added benefit of you could change themes and paragraph 3 is still paragraph 3. So you wouldn't have to go back in and redo placeholders or wait for somebody to do the work for you. You could do this and be optimizing those same placeholders for all of time, regardless of what theme you ran. So today I just want to kind of show you how you can do that and how best to set up your site for that kind of long-term functionality. What we need to do is you're going to reference these locations. So when you go look at these, they actually have like their IDs overall, right? Under first paragraph, 644, right? So we can go ahead and jump over. When we jump over here, you can actually just do searches based on what you're looking for. So like top of page, right? So this one would be under first paragraph, 644. And what you're going to need to do manual placeholders is you're going to have to go through these and you're going to have to click on the code because you need to grab this code to put into the ad inserter. So depending on the amount of ads you have within content, I have posts that are 3,000 words or 4,000 words. There's some that have quite a few. You're going to need to go do them all, and it's going to be a lot of work up front, but it cuts down any work you'll have to do in the future. So you're going to have to grab the code for each of these. So it would help if you had your site open at the same time while you're grabbing these, so you can grab the right ones. Or in many cases, they're semi-descriptive, so you would expect that in content 20 would be further down than in content 19. You could kind of stagger them yourself by going through and just listing them out. So like under first paragraph would be under P1. This is under P2, right? And then first, this is the first in content. So in content 1. So you would just put this under, 3 more paragraphs, and 3 more paragraphs, and 3 more paragraphs through your content all the way through. As to the sidebar, what you're going to need to do would be to go into your appearance, and then for your theme in Akabato, it's just underneath widgets, but it's probably under sidebar or something similar. It's not always widgets, I don't think, for every single theme. But you're trying to get to where your sidebar location is, and what you're going to do is you're going to have to add these as custom HTML. So this would be add slot 1, right? So go back through here and you go find your sidebar top. You'll copy this. You go into here and you're just going to paste this in. And now you've got your sidebar top. Go ahead and move that to the top. Now you've got a sidebar middle. You're going to have to create another one. He's going to go in the middle. What you're going to do is go down here to the bottom. Create a new one. Save it. Now he's at the bottom. But what you need is the sidebar floating has to be below everything else. Go ahead and grab sidebar floating, and you're going to make one more down here for custom HTML, which will be the floater. So this is going to give you now all of your ads inside the sidebar, and they'll be very organized. So what I would do is you want to make sure at least that you have the necessary elements. So at least 2 elements in the sidebar, so you can be above the top one, underneath the top one, and then underneath the very bottom, and then you can add the floating at the very end. And then now your sidebar is locked in place. You never have to worry about the sidebar again, unless the theme changes this menu. And when they do that, these things all still exist. They're just dumped into this inactive widgets section. So you can always go into the next theme and just grab the widget and drop them all right back into this new one again to keep you up and running with the same code and same optimization. There's a lot of different ad insertion plugins. Most of them have limits on what a free account can do. The one Ezoic uses the most is Ad Inserter, which you can use, and it's fine, but I think it tops out at 13 or 16 total placeholders, like ads that can be added without you purchasing the pro version. So it's not always necessarily the right fit. Advanced ads itself allows you to do all the placeholders you want. It also has a lot of controls in their pro version that just add further controls in other locations and some more advanced features, so you could hide it for signed in users easy, and many other things. WP quads, the last time I tried this one, it limited you to like those 300 by 250 ads. So like your placeholder just wouldn't get much space regardless of being put in there unless you paid for the pro version. It is available, and I'll put a link below to each of these 3. Those are the 3 I've used the most. I mean, everybody's can see that there's plenty of options. If there's a better one in here, I wouldn't mind, but I really don't like plugins with 0 ratings. Last updated months ago. This is how you get yourself hacked. Like, actively, there's no one really developing consistently. These ones developing consistently, you've got, I mean, updates 1 day ago, 6 days ago. Like, see, this might be a really cool plugin, but I mean, it's got 0 stars, last updated a year ago. This is how you end up getting your site in danger. So I would say take your time, figure out if you're at about 13 in content placeholders, then ad inserter is almost the easiest perfect fit for you. The advanced ads is a little bit different, and I would skip on quads for now because for us it would require buying the pro for it to really be functional. It's got a pretty easy interface though. Since Ezoic really seems to prefer the ad inserter, we're going to go ahead and just install it, and we're going to migrate over some of those positions just so you can see how simple this process actually is, because this way you can start to better set up your site for the future, and this will also increase your EPMV as the AI won't lose the ad slot and have to restart over again. Like if you change themes or like a plugin updates and it drops them out and you have to go recreate them, this will make sure that they're you have continuation of the optimized version running for you nonstop. So once this is here, you're going to go in here and it's in settings, and you're going to go to add inserter, and you'll see, so yeah, 16 blocks. So you have up to 16 that you can insert. And then down below, it's actually going to tell you where you want to, where you want to put it, how you want to put it. So like here is where the different sections are. So for these, we can do before the content, before the post itself, before a paragraph. So before paragraph 1, or you can do after paragraph 1. So I would say when doing this, stick with one of them and keep going. So if you do before paragraph, then do before paragraph on every single one of them. If you do after paragraph, then do after paragraph on every single one of them. It'll just keep you more sane for the long run. And then you can do ones for after content. But I would say focus more specifically on the in content stuff, because the in content is what is generating you the income outside of that sticky. The sticky and the footer itself are probably about 30 to 35% of your overall ad income, because they'll load through and play for a specific amount of time and then change to another ad. So the longer you can keep somebody on your page and engaged, those 2 ads pay out longer than any other because they're always on screen. And the footer's always more than the sidebar because the footer is always on the screen, even on mobile, whereas the sidebar is gone and not there on mobile. So in this case, what you do is you would need to go back over to your ads, and you're going to go under first paragraph, copy, and then under here, you're just going to paste in your code, and in here, you're just going to say after first paragraph. So under first paragraph, after first paragraph. So that way you've got your ads being set up and you're starting to put them in place. So the same thing would go 2, would be after paragraph 2. Here you got to go under second paragraph, paste it in here. And then what you want to do is make sure you save everything. Then you're going to get these that'll show up in here, and you'll see that there'll be a little bit of differences. But that's how you get them to inject into the content itself. In a nutshell, that's how you actually would build out manually inserting these. So what I would suggest is after you have 1 and 2, you'll note they change color once they're actually assigned, otherwise they're blank. So first paragraph, second paragraph. If I was to do this myself, then this would become paragraph 5. Because I try to skip 3 to 4 paragraphs between ads. If you write really long walls of text, so if you're one of those people who's writing what is, 4, 5, 6 sentences, you may want to drop this down to every 2 paragraphs because you're taking up a lot of screen real estate. When I write, I tend to stick to a sentence or 2 sentences because when you switch down to like a mobile size, this is still not too long a section to read. So the problem with most long content in a mobile view is like even this section for me. See that it takes up half the screen. I mean, this is literally 1 paragraph, it's half the screen. Now this little 2-sentence thing that looked really small on desktop is filling up almost half a screen. If you write a paragraph that's 5 sentences, it's taking up the whole screen and it becomes more of a wall of text to people. So I would suggest breaking sentences up when you. But if you're going to make them really long, then your ads can't be. You can't have ads every 3 paragraphs. You need to compress them down a little bit so that you get a little bit more on the screen for testing. So that's what I would do. And then this one would be after paragraph. This would be 8. So you see this would be after the 5th paragraph, after the 8th paragraph, after the 11th paragraph, and so on through the content itself. That way I've got them evenly distributed across the whole of my content all the time. If you've got any questions about how to do this better, ensure your ads are done correctly, or if you're on Google Ads, Ezoic has also switched over to there being no page limits. So instead of waiting until 10,000, you can actually go do it today. I would suggest highly jumping over if you're on AdSense still, because you should see an almost immediate increase in revenue once you make the swap over and get all the placeholders done. I do have a video on placeholders that I'll link, and I look forward to hearing in the comments from you guys.